Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Sorry, I just got out of the shower. Um, oh, a little bit ago, but anyways, so I tell you that I do the I listen to motivational stuff and like that. I read a lot of um, I read a lot of different stuff, but um, anyways, so I'm laying in bed with my dogs and listening to some motivational stuff, having a conversation with the man upstairs, which is my favorite nighttime thing, is to have conversation with him. Um, Sometimes at the detriment of my sleep. But it's okay because he makes sure I got through the day. Anyways, um, the the thing that I want to talk to you tonight about is boundaries. I've shared in a lot of videos how to see things and how to have a little bit more ability to see the ones that don't have your best interest at heart, the ones who are manipulative and controlling. And here's the biggest thing, the biggest thing that starts all of your journey is literally setting boundaries. Now, if everybody was a good, decent human being, there would be no reason for boundaries because people would automatically just respect each other. The problem is that's not how our society lives. So you have to have boundaries. And people think that boundaries sometimes are not healthy. Well, let me explain to you boundaries and why they're healthy. So say you have a backyard. I don't know where you're from, but here in Phoenix, Arizona, everybody has their backyards are private. Some of the older neighborhoods and stuff aren't as private, but all the newer stuff that's been built in like the 70s and 80s and up are all like privacy fenced in. So you have your private space. And boundaries, that is your backyard. And you decorate it how you want. You might have a garden, you might have a pool, maybe you have a huge wind chime collection, which I used to have. I was obsessed with wind chimes. And there are different things that you might do in your backyard. It's your private area. It's like a extra room on the house when it's beautiful outside. Some states you only get a few months, unless you live out here, and you can get it pretty much whenever you want. Even in the hot summer months, if you do it right in your backyard, you can still enjoy your backyard. Anyways, what I'm trying to get at is there's gates to those backyards. Everybody has either a walk-through gate or an RV gate. There's a way to get into the backyard, not having to go through just the house. A gate. Now, the gate doesn't really provide much protection. I mean, if it's not locked, somebody could just open it and walk right through. Even if it's locked, they could drive through with a car. They could beat it down with a sledgehammer, whatever else. But it doesn't give a ton of protection, is what the point is. But it secures off your space that is for specifically for you. A boundary is a gate. You are saying, this is my love. I have it for myself, which means I have plenty of it for other people if I have it for myself. when somebody crosses a boundary and thinks that they have the right to step into your backyard, across your gate, through your gate, and thinks that they get to take your love, but not give you something in return, not reciprocate it properly, you have every right to do a boundary. You're not forcing them out. You're not doing anything. You're just saying that you're not coming into my backyard and taking what I have for myself and everybody else, and you're just going to bring in emptiness and coldness? No, that's not happening. That's not allowed in my backyard. It's not allowed in my space. Here's the boundary. The boundary doesn't stop the person from doing anything, but that's how you know you're dealing with a manipulative, controlling person. Because most people, when you set up a boundary, even if you or I don't understand why they're setting up the boundary, that doesn't matter why they're setting it up. The minute they tell you a boundary, you know that for some reason there's pain on the other side of that boundary. You know that they don't want to be dealing with it again. They've been through it before. So you respect that. Okay, I don't understand why this is an issue, but okay, this is your boundary. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. Can you help me understand why it's a boundary? So if I have that why answered, I'm going to more than likely work very hard to not ever cross that boundary again. And this is what a healthy communication is between people. This is not just couples. This is just people in general. And if you set a boundary and go, whoa, no, I don't want to do this. And they get mad. They call you names. They get cruel. They get angry. They go running out to give a smear campaign about you. All they're doing is saying that they're mad because you won't let them do whatever they want. You don't matter. If you have to set up a boundary and enforce the boundary, if you have to enforce the boundary and lock that gate and close that gate off, it's not because you did anything wrong. It's because that person did something wrong. And the fact that they're angry about it should be proof to everybody else around that this person doesn't know how to respect people's boundaries. They don't need to understand the boundaries. That's what the conversation is about when you realize that somebody put up a boundary. There's no reason to be mad about it. The only reason you'd be mad about it is because now you can't come in and play them like a puppet on strings. Because now you can't, because now they can't manipulate and control you. So that's why you use the gate. If you lock it, well, you get a lot harder time getting you to open that up. But your boundaries are set there. They're just a gate. They're not horrible things. They're not horrible things. They are things that you have decided for yourself, I'm not going to tolerate again. I will not tolerate, and I'm going to use this as an example. It's extreme, but that's why I'm using it. I will not tolerate jealousy in any way, shape, or form. Not whatsoever. And the reason that I won't is because everybody that I've ever been with has always been jealous. And they were jealous and accusing me of cheating, but they ended up doing it. And I knew when they were doing it what they were doing, and I told them that. I said, no, I'm not doing anything. You're pointing a finger at me, you got 3 back at you. And yeah, they get mad. I guess they figured that I believed them, but I didn't. I don't comprehend how you can be emotionally attached to somebody and in love with them, and then they do something horrible. That love doesn't stop. Those feelings don't end. It takes a while to get yourself to the point where you can say, okay, I got to walk away from these feelings. I got to get, you got to get in a frame of mind to be able to leave. So when people don't leave right away and it ends up happening later, none of that shocks me. Those people are coming to grips with, I've been in love with this person for how long? I have to figure out how to let them go because they're not healthy for me. And them working to do that might take a longer time for some people than other people. The only reason that they're doing it is because they're slowly detaching. And if you look at the relationship, you can completely see it. Completely see it. But a boundary is about what you'll tolerate and what you won't. So if I'm with anybody and the number one question that I will not answer, that I absolutely think is asinine to even ask, because every guy that has asked me this stupid question, if I answer it honestly, gets mad. Why would you ask me a fucking question if you didn't want to know the answer and it was going to make you mad? Why would you ask? Leave it as a curiosity and let it go. But the number one question is, how many people have you been with? Really? I've never lied about it. I've always been bluntly honest. When I was younger, I'd just whip out whatever the number was and I'd tell them. A lot of them were usually shocked because I didn't have a lot. and they didn't believe me, but I didn't care. And then they go into being mad and jealous and comparing themselves to these people. Well, dude, you can't compare yourself to anybody else I've been with. You're not them. You're not the same as them. You don't have the same upbringing. You don't have the same mentality. You don't have the same characteristics. You might have some qualities that are the same, but you could never be that person. So why would there be a comparison? Sex is more than just physical. There's also, the deeper a connection goes, the more intense and the more amazing it becomes. So how can you compare? Because if you're going to compare, now you got to look at timeline of how long I was with these people. I mean, come on, if you're going to do the comparison thing, let's go full on here. But that's a boundary. So if I'm dating somebody and they ask me my numbers, I'm like, let me warn you. I'll gladly give you my numbers. But are you sure you really want them? Because you can't unknow them. And if you're not secure enough in yourself, it's going to become a build-up resentment between you and I. Not on my end, but on yours. And I'm going to notice the way you treat me differently. And I'm going to treat you differently for it. My love is free. But as long as you pull yours back, mine gets pulled back too. This isn't unconditional love does not mean unconditional tolerating of anything. And that is the part where I think that you can tell that the person has respect for you or not, really, because if they do, they're going to, okay, I don't know what that boundary's for, but okay, I know that there has to be pain. There's something that happened in their history that caused them to feel this boundary's important. So, okay, let me find out what that is so then I can not cause that pain. I don't ever want to be the cause of that pain. But when they decide, when you put up a boundary, that you get mean, cruel, and nasty, bye-bye. You don't need to come back to this backyard ever again. We're not doing this. Not happening. Been there, done that, played that game of repeating over and over again And that's why in 2020, I made the decision to stop dating for a period of time and get closer with the man upstairs. How can I be perfect for the man God is making for me or has out there for me? How can I do so good by him if I'm not even fixed fully myself? So the one common denominator was me. So I had to fix me. And really all I had to do was learn to be my true authentic self and love myself more than I already did. So I had to get rid of the preconditioning. And if you don't understand what all of it is, there's some videos in here about it. If you want me to do another video, just holler at me. I'll go ahead and do another video. But I just wanted to come on here really quick and tell you about, and I know I always say really quick, but it's never really quick. For goodness sakes, I live alone and I have dogs to talk to in the man upstairs. And you guys. Anyways, just kidding. Anyways, so I just wanted to share that with you so you had a concept of your boundaries are not, they're like a gate to a backyard. They really don't protect against anything. But it keeps the ones that don't have good intentions behind them. And you can be at peace here. And that gate opens for people when you meet them. But once they cross the boundary and they're disrespectful and mad because you set a boundary, the gate's got to close and they can't come back in. But if they acknowledge the boundary and they talk to you and try to understand it so they don't have to do it, you don't have to put you through that, then that gate can stay open. It can be a back and forth, free-flowing giving. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. That's what healthy means. I'm getting yelled at by my dog because she thinks I'm talking too much, probably because she wants to go to bed. Anyways, I'll let you guys go for the night. I'll be back in a day or two. Love you. Bye.